Boss asked me to train him before I go on vacation. I've been working as an information systems manager for a small company with around 45 employees for the past 12 years. Although I've requested promotions and pay raises every year, they've been consistently declined. My responsibilities are extensive, including major decision-making in information technology, software projects, implementations, cybersecurity, audits, compliance, network and firewall management, IT assets, and so on. While most of our general help desk issues are outsourced to a service provider, I do assist with them when I can, depending on their complexity, so we don't always have to outsource typical IT work if it's not necessary. Recently, the company underwent structural changes, and I began reporting to the chief admin. Interestingly, the chief admin, who was hired at the same time as me, quickly climbed the ranks within the company. Anyway, a couple weeks ago, I submitted a request for a 1-week time off, which required his approval. He responded that he couldn't approve my time off until we figured out coverage details for my absence. In all my 12 years, this is the first time they are worried about coverage. He asked me to document all my responsibilities and create a knowledge base, then train him on how to do my job. This would include fixing common computer and network issues, resolving malware, virus problems, connecting to servers, handling SaaS and application issues, dealing with cybersecurity, network configs, etc. Taken aback, I told him that teaching him a decade's worth of IT knowledge wasn't feasible. He insisted, pointing out that I was self-taught, so I should be able to teach him. I tried to explain that IT doesn't work that way, suggesting instead that he contact our service provider in case of an IT emergency. And if it's not urgent, they can leave it and I can return to fix it. He countered that the service providers take too long to respond and insisted I train him or someone else. I continued to object, detailing the complexities involved in IT duties. But he persisted, saying, "We don't need to be trained on everything. We only need to know if something goes wrong. How do we fix it?" Frustrated, I finally agreed to see what I could do. To which he responded, "Great, I'll sign off on your PTO once our training is done." An hour later, I returned to his office with a 2-week notice, placed it on his desk, and walked out. The following day, I was called into a meeting with the chief admin and the CEO to discuss this matter. During the meeting, I learned that the CEO and Sao are cousins. Seems clear whose side the CEO was on at that point. They did all the talking, and I simply presented 2 options. Approve my 1-week PTO or accept my 2-week notice. I then excused myself from the meeting. It's now 3 days closer to my scheduled PTO, and I have yet to hear a decision from them on either option. I'm not playing their stupid games. I think I'll just quit. When you leave, don't forget to point out that since you were self-taught, he should be able to self-teach it himself in no time. Good idea. Then when they call desperate for help, charge them $500 per hour as a contractor. In reality, he wanted you to train him because he wants to be able to terminate you down the road. Always, and I mean always, immediately start job hunting when management asks you to fill them in on your work duties. It is almost always a sign of pending job trouble or unemployment. Honestly, no raise or promotion for 12 years in IT. It's about time you stopped being their whipping boy. You missed out 30 to 50 grand in comp increases easily if you had jumped around every 2.5 years. Take your PTO. They can only fire you. You're probably too good at your job. You're making it look easy. Boss thinks you're not doing anything. Offer your boss to shadow you for a day and bring a notebook to take notes. Boss will be frustrated with having to do actual work and get distracted by the next shiny object. In about 15 minutes anyway. Don't quit. Take your PTO and enjoy it. Take your replaceable desk trinkets. Show back up for work and start job hunting on their dime. Please update this post. Good for you, op. I'm sure you know this. But the second you walked out of that room, they started the process to replace you. I'd almost bet their current plan, in the interim, is to pretend like most of the conversation never happened and it's just business as usual. They clearly need you until they hire some lesser qualified person to do your job at a much cheaper rate. At least that's how my company seems to do things these days. And if it's anything like my company, all of a sudden, they will have hired someone to assist you, so you have coverage. And once you've fully trained that person, then they'd throw you out the door. If I was you, I wouldn't bother quitting before my vacation, as I doubt they'll do anything to stop you at this point. Take your paid vacation time and enjoy yourself. You've earned it. Then when you get back, jump into job hunting mode. It is beyond time to move on from this place. You will never be treated fairly there. 12 years loyalty and still treated like the hired help. Time to help yourself to a new job and more money. A vice president wanted me to this and sent me an Excel sheet with 2 columns for problem and solution. I filled out 10 rows with the exact same problem and different solutions, and he said he needed to know how to tell which solution to use, and I told him that troubleshooting isn't learned. It's experienced. He kept pressing my boss to get me to fill it out, and I kept putting it on the back burner until I left. He wants you to train him to replace you. If you had gone through with training him, he would have fired you after instead of approving your PTO. It's now 3 days closer to my scheduled PTO, and I have yet to hear a decision from them on either option. I'm not playing their stupid games. I think I'll just quit. They're probably banking you on caving. Quitting sounds like the way to go. And hey, if everything falls apart around their ears after you're gone, you can always negotiate a fat, paid in advance, consultation fee. Time to move on, and don't give them any information or training. As was pointed out, you were self-taught, so it's your intellectual property. As they not given you any training. Honestly, you should have quit years ago. Yup. Take your PTO. Leave when your 2 weeks is up. If they valued you as an employee, they would have taken care of you. Instead, they are taking you for granted. Is everyone else at the company aware of CAO being related? If not, it would be a shame if someone told them. Well, so you have no IT experience and background, and would like to manage the most common issues. That will take 2 to 4 weeks training, depending on how dumb you are, plus 2 weeks of practical training. During this time, I will not be able to tend to my usual duties. Nor you yours. I suggest we schedule this training for the next month so that we are ready for my vacations next year. What absolute idiots. You are clearly undervalued. For the past 12 years, your requests for promotions and salary increases have been consistently denied. Yet they can't manage without your knowledge and expertise for a week. Get out of there as fast as you can. Stick to your guns. Which sounds like what you're doing. I'm only a tech one, and I cannot imagine how frustrating that is. Even I know their expectations are impossible. They want to act childish. You don't need to show your face. They're giving me narc vibes.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Ericast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.